In the video you're about to watch, I spent hours looking at the reasons behind Tesla's success. Fundamentally, every automaker in the world right now that produces gasoline-powered vehicles is losing billions of dollars on warranty recalls. The automakers that are transitioning to EVs are all, except Tesla and BYD, primarily using lithium ternary batteries as their strategy. We've all seen how that's played out for General Motors, Hyundai, and other automakers using LG Chem's ternary batteries. Fortunately for Tesla, most of the vehicles they sold over the past 24 months actually used lithium iron phosphate batteries. Not only that, but if we combine that with the fact that Tesla only sells electric cars, their future warranty costs will be significantly lower per car sold than the competition. Within the past 48 hours, 2 different lawsuits have been either proceeding in court in the United States against General Motors in California and Oklahoma. The one in California, while the judge has just awarded in favor of the plaintiffs, saying GM's engines use too much oil, causing massive problems and serious defaults. Now, this problem for General Motors has been ongoing. It's been going on for years and years, and it's been prosecuted against General Motors in many different states in the United States. And this got me to thinking, warranty claims cost billions of dollars, many, many billions of dollars every year. I'm not exaggerating at all. So who is in the worst position? Actually, the funny thing is here, if you compare Tesla's warranty costs to those of their competition, it shows a major, major problem for 2 automakers who could potentially be sunk under billions of dollars of debt that their competition are not facing. And I mean, the gap is so big, it's frankly shocking that no one is reporting on this. I'm very surprised. I'm looking at this data now. I'm absolutely shocked. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you. My name is Sam Evans and I'm coming to you from Melbourne, Australia. You know what? Today's an amazing day. Why? Because more EVs were sold today than what were yesterday, than what were last month. Regardless of these crazy, crazy people that are out there, I've seen their comments on, my goodness, don't subscribe to Seeking Alpha. What a nightmare that place is. The amount of false information spread on that website. If you read that stuff, you'll just be, it's like a wacko religion there where they just believe in this stuff where they just desperately want to keep to the status quo. They can't understand the world is changing, things are changing, and there's nothing they can do about it. Even if they don't like those changes, even if those changes don't fit into their worldview, the reality is the world is changing. How so? Well, renewable energy is coming in, EVs are coming in. And the thing is, right, one thing people don't realize is that even if you're a legacy automaker who doesn't do EVs very well, recall and warranty costs on EVs are significantly lower. The gap is actually enormous. So even though General Motors has had to deal with some pretty massive warranty recalls, specifically on its 5.3-litre V8 engine, its warranty costs actually are pretty small compared to Ford. Ford have been trying to address this issue. The media have been talking about this a lot. If you haven't heard about it, then you should know about it, because Ford have hired a bunch of people to try and reform the company because their warranty costs are now more than twice as high as General Motors. Pretty bad for Ford. But it's actually even worse for one of their competitors. But the entire picture this actually paints, when you actually drill down to the numbers, it shows one thing. If you only make EVs, your warranty costs, more than likely, unless you're General Motors and you've had to recall every single bolt and bolt EUV, more than likely your warranty costs are going to be much lower than your competition who produce internal combustion engine vehicles. Now, warranty recall costs for Tesla are minuscule in comparison per car sold. They are much, much lower. The funny thing is, Tesla's recalls, right, are much lower. In fact, they are 75% lower on average than the competition. That's on average. In some cases, even less than 75%. But the thing is here, right? The majority of those recalls actually aren't even recalls. Tesla was able to fix their issues via over-the-air software updates. So that 75% is now closer to 90%. This is crazy. I don't know why Seeking Alpha, the so-called experts on investment advice, are not pointing out this very obvious and very important fact. Warranty costs are enormous. Now, you're probably thinking, yeah, Viking, yeah, whatever you're talking about, man, I don't care about warranty costs. It's not that relevant. Well, actually, you'd be wrong if you thought that. In fact, this situation is far, far worse than I think anyone realizes. For example, in 2020, Volkswagen claimed that they were the most profitable automaker in the world. They said they made $15 billion. But do you remember them saying anything about what it cost them in warranty costs? That year, they spent $10 billion on warranty costs. In fact, the exact number was 9.63 billion euros. That was what? 66% of their entire profit was swallowed up by warranty costs. The same year? Now you might be thinking, oh, but maybe it's to do with Dieselgate, so maybe that was just a bad year for Volkswagen. But it wasn't. The crazy thing is, that was a decrease of 4% versus 2019 for Volkswagen. And 2021, well, it wasn't much better. $9.3 billion from Volkswagen went into warranty costs. Now, the thing is, this is enormous, but it's also an enormous waste of time. In addition to that, it's not just the waste of time, it's the reputation. If you've owned a Volkswagen car and you have to return it, pretty good chance you do, because Volkswagen and Ford have the highest return rates of any car brands in the world for warranty issues. Then that means, are you likely to go and want to buy one of those cars again? Probably, maybe. But as this happens to you over and over, you probably start to think to yourself, nah, that's enough for me. I've had enough now, right? That's probably what a lot of people think. Maybe not everyone, but a lot of people going through this experience. Now, warranty costs from other brands were nowhere near that of Volkswagen. And the thing is, Volkswagen is now, it's in a bit of a race with Toyota to be the most indebted company in the world. Technically, Toyota is right now, but the winner seems to change every year. Toyota and Volkswagen are the two most indebted companies on the face of the earth. And then we're seeing that between 60 to 70% of their profits are just being wasted on warranty claims. Now, the only other decline in warranty costs in Europe from the major manufacturers over there was BMW. Their warranty costs in 2020 were 2.35 billion. In 2021, 2.22 billion. Costs in 2020 around 3 billion. In 2021, $3.2 billion. I mean, really, it's nothing in comparison to Volkswagen, but that said, Volkswagen did sell a lot more cars. Mercedes-Benz, on the other hand, paid 3.85 billion for their warranty costs, a slight increase from their 2020 number of 3.77 billion. Now, the warranty claims rate for Volkswagen is actually at, well, an all-time low for the last decade. It's now sitting at a nearly industry high of 4.5%. BMW, Stellantis, and Mercedes-Benz are all sitting at around 2.5%. And surprisingly, Renault, who has a so-called terrible reputation for warranty, which clearly is unproven by the statistics, are at an industry low of only 1.9%. Now, let's have a look at GM and Ford. Surprisingly, GM had a huge warranty spike in claims in 2020 with nearly 5%. Ford that year actually beat General Motors, but the tide has turned dramatically since then. GM right now is sitting at around 2.5%, while Ford is at 4%. But the thing is, for Ford, their costs are skyrocketing, completely out of control. Jim Farley has mentioned this on a number of occasions. In fact, you don't have to listen to me. You can find his quotes on warranty being a nightmare for Ford and it costing them billions of dollars, which is a huge problem for them on many occasions. Right now, Ford's average warranty cost per car per year is more than double that of Ford. If we compare all of these manufacturers, all of them, right, to Tesla, you'll see that Tesla has a huge advantage over the competition. And I feel like I'm repeating myself here. A huge advantage over the competition, huge advantage over the competition over and over and over. I'm sure you're sick of hearing it, but they just do. Warranty recall rates from warrantyweek.com's archive, where all the statistics are compiled, say that Tesla's number is 1%. That's the best in the world. So this whole media narrative that Tesla vehicles are unreliable and have all these warranty problems is unfounded, factually incorrect in comparison to the competition. Now, the thing is, for some of these gasoline-powered manufacturers, such as Ford, warranty costs as a share of sales are increasing. In 2012 and 2013, Ford's warranty cost claims as a share of sales were below 2% every quarter. But at the end of 2018, warranty costs topped 3% and hit 4.3%. In other words, more than double what it was 10 years ago in the second quarter of this year. For the first 9 months of 2020, Ford's warranty costs were $3.9 billion. General Motors, $1.7 billion. Extrapolate those numbers, you're looking at 2020. Ford paid out nearly $5 billion in warranty costs. Yeah, it's a lot better than Volkswagen's at $10 billion, but still, that's a lot of money. General Motors warranty costs were just under half of what Ford's were. Tesla's, well, they were much, much smaller again. So what all of this leads me to is this. Tesla is making massive amounts of cash right now for one key reason. Its profitability per car is higher than the competition. Of course, the reason behind its profitability per car being higher than the competition is made up of many different reasons, but I don't think one of them that's considered by the market is that their warranty costs are lower than their competition. Key point and key reason for that is that their type of car that they sell is only electric, and it has much fewer parts in it that can go wrong. Speaking of profitability, who were and are the most profitable automakers, and what does that mean for the future? Well, Mercedes-Benz was the most profitable car company in 2021. They put nearly $26 billion on the bottom line. But last year, Mercedes spun off its heavy truck business, in other words, sold it, and booked that as a $12.3 billion profit. That's a one-time windfall that's not going to happen ever again. So if you strip that out, Mercedes would actually move down to 6th place. Ranking second is Toyota with a tidy profit of more than $19 billion. Ford is right behind with $17.9 billion. But last year, Ford boosted its profits with a one-time windfall of Rivian stock worth more than $8 billion. Most of those gains have been completely reversed now. Take that out and Ford would move from 3rd place to 7th place. Next up is Stellantis, which put $14.5 billion on the bottom line. Not bad for a merger of 3 car companies that officially only got going at the beginning of last year. What that means is Stellantis technically was actually the most profitable car company, second only to Toyota. BMW made $13.7 billion and it ranks 5th. General Motors made $10 billion in 6th. Tesla made $5.5 billion. And it made it the world's 8th most profitable car company in the world, which is amazing for a company that only had 2 assembly plants running last year and only produced 936,000 cars. Compare that to Volkswagen and Toyota, who sold nearly 10 million. And you can see that Tesla's profitability per car is much, much higher than any of their competition. Even more amazing, Tesla was more profitable than Honda at $4.9 billion and Hyundai at $4.6 billion, even though they sold millions more vehicles than Tesla did. Those millions of vehicles, what's going to happen? Eventually, lots of them, most of them, will need to come in for recalls, warranties, and that's going to cost all of those gasoline-powered vehicle companies billions of dollars. Now, you might be saying to yourself, well, General Motors, they're moving to EVs, and that's a good thing, right? Well, yes and no. As you know, this year, we've seen some major recalls. GM have already recalled every Hummer EV they sold. They've already recalled every Cadillac Lyric that they've delivered. And last year was a disaster. Over the 4 months from April, May, June, and July, General Motors had its highest recall percentage in company history, when it had to recall its highest selling EV in history, the Chevy Bolt. The company has now spent more than $1 billion recalling that vehicle. In other words, General Motors has had to recall almost every EV it's sold for significant battery issues. Who knows if that will continue into the future. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.